where we last left off. Now again, for those that might not have seen the previous video, apologies. I haven't been basically doing any streaming, recording, or otherwise for the last about 2 weeks or so, I'd say, give or take. Well, more like a week, but still. Mainly because I am in the process of moving, which unfortunately has kind of drained away anything resembling spare time that I currently have. Right, so last time around we basically secured the sector here. We are now basically one station away from completely having this sector on lockdown. So I'm just going to quickly position myself over at that station. And we're going to slowly wipe that out while we deal with other aspects of our economy. And yes, at long last, we do have a release date for the Cradle of Humanity expansion, which will be next month on the 16th, which I'm looking forward to. We also do have the results of the poll that I mentioned, or the survey, I should say, that I mentioned, in relation to whether or not we basically completely, or, well, whether or not we're completely eliminating the resources in the main kind of core world circle of the universe, or whether, you know, they preferred it to stay the way it is. In the end, it was basically a 75 to 25 kind of deal for getting rid of the resources in the main core and keeping them. So Egosoft went with, I believe for this beta branch, or this version of the beta branch, if I'm not mistaken, a compromise of sorts, which was essentially that there would still be resources in those core sectors, but they would be, the amounts would be drastically reduced, but the, I guess, what can I say, the resupply of those resources, though, would still be quite high. So there wouldn't be very many resources, but they would at least replenish at a decent rate. So that's the kind of compromise they're going with here, at least for the moment. We'll see how that ends up working out. I mean, I do like the idea of making mining a bit more difficult, and because of that, I'm going to be doing some adjustments to my stuff as well. In which case, I'm basically going to get a centralized storage location for resources set up. I do wish, like, one thing I really wish that I could get, though, is essentially, like, a full-on mini scripting system when it comes to giving commands. You know, the ability to add, what the hell, until, and, you know, and then whatever it happens to be for that. If you've ever played, Autonauts, basically a very similar scripting system to that, where it's like, go here, mine this, until full, and then drop off, or deposit until empty at this location, rinse, repeat. Okay, now, let's call my friend over here, pardon me, let's call the Kraken over to help. Now, let's see if I can position him a little bit better.
Go ahead.
Still keep him at range. Oh, let's see here.
Day.
Hey, thank you for the follow there, Cadman. Welcome, good sir, to the Shenanigans. Let's pull you back a little bit. There we go. That way he should position himself at a nice angle close enough to this thing to be able to lay into it without himself just getting obliterated. As a matter of fact, I should borrow one of the rattlesnakes here. Actually, looks like most of them are on their way out. Yeah, no, I'm gonna steal you if I can. Or you know what? No. I'm just going to remove that order, because I don't want him, on second thought, I don't want him here, because then he might just end up suiciding himself again against the station. I would rather that not happen. So while we basically take care of this, let's take a look at the other stuff that we got going on here. Now, I believe the Matrix 451 defense platform is now finished. So if I go to plan build, it has now been completed. So this lovely structure of death here is ready to go and armed to the teeth. So any Xenon attempting to retake this system will first have to fight through this lovely beast right here. Good luck to them for that. I'm almost tempted to add another admin dock to this, to be completely honest. Like add an admin station over, let me see if I can rotate that properly, like right here. But my thing is, I don't know whether you can even really have more than one admin station per station. Maybe you can, because the control of a sector is determined by the amount of admin stations that you have. But I'm not sure how much of it, if that's per station or just, yeah. Either way, let's go ahead and remove that for now. Close out that menu. Let's go ahead and plan build on this guy. So this thing's still kind of trying to get all the resources in it needs to finish its job, which is taking its sweet time, unfortunately. What can you do, though? Sometimes it just takes time. Anyway, once that's done, I'll be able to greatly increase the production of this again, and we'll see how that goes. We also did see in some of the other stations that they were suffering some issues in their logistics chain. Mainly, this guy's missing a lot of silicon, methane, and helium. More than likely because the ships that were actually assigned to him have been destroyed, which is very unfortunate. Like, what do you have left? So you have one gas, one mineral, which should in a way be enough, but I'm going to give him at least one more of each. So let's go ahead and order him some more. Actually, let's check on the other ones here as well. Like, you have, if I go to your subordinates, yeah, you got a lot of gas miners and at least 2 mineral miners. And how are you doing? Logistic-wise. Oh yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine. The only issue being that we're not producing silicon wafers fast enough, which is basically causing a backup in this whole chain for microchips at least. But we still have enough, quite a bit enough in stock to not cause an issue. Alright. So I don't need to worry about that. So it's just this guy needs a couple, I'd say, I'll give him 2 more. 2 more gas, 2 more miners. That should be more than sufficient. We will eventually also need a bunch more for here as well for this system. So I think I'll just order a bunch of them basically in bulk and then send them here to get ready to start filling up once they get their basics set up. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go make a bulk order. Actually, I need to double check here to see if I actually have... I do not have any of the minor blueprints. Well, that's unfortunate, but what can you do? I mean, I could just go buy the blueprints. Especially, you know what, actually, if I'm going to get them in bulk, why the hell not? You know what, let me go into this ship's default behavior. Hold position. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to teleport out of here. Which ones do I want, though? believe I was preferring the Talati variant. So that being said, we want to go to Eonimus Zura. Good. Just gonna do a quick little teleport, buy a couple of things, and then we'll be good to go.
Entering system. Eonimus Zura.
And representative. And then we'll teleport back and take over our ship again. Do. Let me in. Hello there, sir. I am here to bly. Yes, I am here to bly your blueprints. Blah. So the gas and the mineral. We are going to want to get the mining turret. And I don't really need much else. I don't think. Is there gas? No, I already own all the drones. Okay. That's going to cost me 3 million. Whatever. Done. Okay. Let's get back. Before the ship, you know, somehow murders itself. Because they're good like that. Teleport back.
Entering system. Matrix. Number.
Let's see. Excellent. You're still doing your job. I am proud of you. For once, you didn't colossally screw up. In that case, let's enjoy this view for a while, shall we? We get to see through the ship at the turrets, which is awkward as hell. This cockpit here, or the bridge, definitely needs to be moved on this ship. And considering that all the mods are updated for this, I'm surprised that they haven't changed that. But my guess is that they can't for whatever reason.
Can I help? Sir?
Yes, you can help by getting off my chair. Thank you. Right. Let's go on here. For now, I will just build like one of each. Just so that I can get, well, one of each going, basically. So, travel 3, combat 3, MK2 shields. Too bad I don't have any MK3 shields. This one was the gas miner, so we'll just give you some... We'll give you some nice split pulse turrets. Those would be nice for you. Okay. Software, docking, flight, long range. Police scanner, targeting extension. Don't really need trading software. But hey, why the hell not? Captain. Okay, let me go ahead and save this. That should be good. So we're missing actually quite a bit of engine parts. Damn. This thing actually sucks up a lot of engine parts. Whatever. Let me add on the mineral miner, get it captain. I mean, we are using literal MK3 engines, so it's not entirely surprising. Did I not buy... Oh, I bought the mining turret. Ah, I didn't buy the mining... Ooh, laser. I might have to fix that. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to fix that, actually. I'm going to cancel that order, though, so I can teleport back quickly. Oh, so we destroyed a section of the station. Excellent. Pardon me while I go ahead and grab that blueprint. Eonimus Zura is down here. Just go ahead and teleport to that. So yeah, that was my bad.
Entering system. Eonimus Zura.
Just do a quick little 360 here. Well, not quite 360, but still. So one thing I will need to check on as well is what my, what's it called?
Great, it's an
what my super transport is basically doing right now. Because I'm going to now need him to get some other stuff done. Yeah, we'll go with the MK2 drill. Confirmed. Good enough. Because, yeah, I'm going to need that ship to now transport a bunch of engine components over to the main complex.
Entering system. Matrix. Number 9.
Hey, you seem to be doing alright for now, so I'll just leave you be for the moment. Let you do your thing while I do that. Okay, main weapon. A MK2 mining drill. Beautiful. Captain, 1 service crew. Add to shopping list. Confirm order. It seems that the reason for that is probably, yeah, because I have a whole bunch of stuff that's already constructed. And a bunch of chimeras that are also currently lined up to be constructed, I see. And I don't know what they're doing with that Nemesis Vanguard. But I can't seem to stop that one, which is annoying. Either way, let's go ahead and find... Yeah, he is currently sitting here doing literally nothing. Ooh, we do need to acquire a manager, though, for that station. Actually, we need to acquire several managers, to be honest, so I'll have to do that quite soon. Oh, he's actually in this sector. So he was dropping off resources to, I believe, the defense platform. Yeah, that's what he was doing. Ah, yes, I understand now. Okay. Engine parts. So she is basically full up with that. And then we'll have her take that all the way over to Grand Exchange and drop those off. There we go. That'll help kick it in the rear a little bit. Is it just me, or did the Grand Exchange system get shuffled around a little bit? Because this should have... I thought that one used to be right here, but I could be wrong. I might be wrong. I think I'm just going crazy. Yeah, I'm definitely going crazy. Ignore me. I'm just losing my mind. So what I want to check is... what exactly are you doing, sir? There we go. That should get him angled and hopefully close enough to actually do something. Because right now he's just kind of sitting there. He's not really doing much of anything, which is annoying. Right, let's go ahead and put the Sate on a little bit. I can hear him behind me, slowly roaring forward. There he is. There we go. Now the guns are blazing. I mean, not exactly blazing that much, but you know. They're doing the best they can. I could almost probably just issue, like, leave the default hold command as is. Actually, that's a thought. Because what I should be doing here is basically having the, like, putting the attack fleet in its own little fleet, or the assault fleet per se in its own little fleet, and then just telling them to go to a location, and then I personally maneuver them into position, because their default order is going to be to hold regardless. So they should then hopefully hold that formation. Especially if I give them the, like, you know, no formation, perhaps, order. Otherwise, they might still try and do some kind of formation and screw it up. I mean, he's not perfect, but yeah, let's go ahead and... Hey, beautiful. I'm going to adjust myself here a little bit. Basically just moving myself a little bit further up. Let's angle myself so that I can put the full effect of those guns to bear.
Battleship.
And let's go ahead and teleport over to the Kraken. Let's see how the... Ooh, the cockpit. I keep calling it a cockpit. This is not a cockpit. It is a bridge. Jeez.
Solar power plant.
Because this thing is the most effective when it is facing directly at the opponent. Because that way, now all of its guns can open fire. There we go. There we go, my precious. This is where you need to be. Now. Information. Your guns are all set to attack all enemies, which is perfect. Good. You're no longer going to move. Yeah, this is basically how I can do it. This is how I can take on stations far more effectively. Is just to manually place them where I want them, tell them not to bloody move, and then just let them have their way with it. Then I could probably even teleport away and do other things, because then I can rely on them to not basically get themselves killed. I mean, this guy decided to maneuver a little bit, which is annoying. I'm hoping the other guy stays still. There we go. Just to make sure that doesn't happen again. Now, you don't have any orders. I thought your default order was to hold position. Oh, there goes another one. Nice. What are we up to now? We are down to 55%. Excellent. Excellent. Just going to rotate a little bit. Since this thing decided it wanted to readjust itself. When it sure as hell wasn't supposed to. Teleport to the Kraken. I will readjust you, sir. Excuse me. Let me actually position you directly up if I can, because I want to get you directly above this thing. I'll even boost it just to give it a little bit of extra juice there. Oh shit, why is my ship shaking? Which means that it might be under attack. Did it move again? I hope it didn't move itself into the freaking cannons, because if it did, I'm going to be a little annoyed. Because that's specifically what I'm trying to prevent here by telling them, you know, just stay still. Just don't move. Please. For the love of all that's holy, just don't move. There we go. That's better. That's better. Now I'm just going to re-angle you down so that everything can start engaging. And from here on, I shouldn't have to maneuver you any. Right. Back to the other guy, who I don't know what the hell he's doing. I swear, if he's moving right now, I'm going to be annoyed. Did you move yourself again? You did, didn't you? You totally did. You bloody donkey. Oh, I swear. Probably, I don't know, maybe the AI has the auto, what the hell is it called? The auto roll on or something. So that it's constantly trying to basically realign them to the plane. Which is kind of annoying, to be honest. Right. Now. Think. Oh, we got a Koch raiding party. Interesting. Let me actually take... Not you. Those are in construction. I want to take the Chimera Swarm here. I'm going to have them go do something quickly, because I saw something over here, and I'm like, no. So I'm going to have them quickly go over there and attack all targets in that range. Hey, Daniel Moore, welcome. This is the beta, yes. I am on beta 8 of the 4.0 patch. So I think what I'm going to do as well, because of the, you know, new scarcity of resources, I think I'm going to create a... I don't know if I should do it here in this system, though. Basically, I'm going to create a station, a small, relatively small station, but its sole purpose is going to be for storage. So we'll just be storing solid and liquid matter. I do have some mods, yes. Mostly things like the X Rebirth ship pack and things like that. A couple quality of life additions. Reaction force? No, I don't think I have reaction force. Let's see what I got here. Better kill credits, crew training courses, improved scouts, improved spaceships, Pirate HQ, ship reverse engineering, Tater trade, which I use quite a bit, the X Rebirth ship pack, and the Biomon. It's like patrol, but it works. Oh, reaction force. Okay, I get what you mean for that now. In that case, let me take a look here. If Steam wants to work now that I have so many things running in the background. Let's see here. Which it's kind of chugging a little bit. Reaction force, there it is. Confirmed compatible with 3 and 4.0. Interesting. Home, silent witness, dock when idle. Response range, 3 jumps, respond to ships. I like that. That actually looks quite nice. Thank you for that. I will definitely look into that one later. Because especially for these systems now, which are basically owned by me, that'll be a good one to have. Because then I could position them here and just say within 2 gates, and then even if they attack things in Fires of Defeat, or within 1 gate even, I should say, then it will be fine. With a Koch being everywhere now? True enough. I wonder, let me take a look at that again. Can you actually designate a specific target? You can have them respond to distress calls, enable notifications, respond to player, respond to stations, but it doesn't specify, like, you know, versus a certain type. So it would basically attack potentially all hostiles, which can be, which is obviously a good thing in a way, but can also, you know, potentially screw you over if your reaction force is attacking things in neutral, well, quote-unquote neutral space, which would then, you know, affect reputation. Yeah, that does, with the new changes to the Koch, now going after mining ships, that is definitely going to be a very useful mod to have. Especially considering I am pumping out what is essentially a mass fighter force that could be deployed in wings at different sectors. Could be like the Grand Exchange Corps Defense Force or something like that, which is just a fleet of 10 chimeras that goes around and defends it, and so on. So yeah, that's definitely a good looking one to have, so thank you for that. I'll probably get that one installed for the next time I do this. Speaking of which, I'm not sure when the next time or the next day per se that I will be streaming this, as unfortunately since I am moving, I don't have internet at the new place until basically the end of the month. So after then, I'll be a lot more active with streaming earlier on in the day. But until then, it's going to be fairly limited, sadly. And, of course, limited to my laptop, as my computer is currently at my new place, basically not even hooked up, because I need to go through a lot of crap and get everything set up before I can even do that. And, of course, get the internet possibly pumped or piped through into that room, as it looks like there's a panel for that. At least I'm hoping. Hoping. But, yeah, we'll see how well that works out. Because come hell or high water, I need a hard line for that baby. Alright, let's go ahead and move you a bit more forwards, because the other guns right here aren't really doing shit, and they need to. That being said, I don't want to put myself within range of their guns. It's one of those things where it's like, this is a very cheesy way to destroy stations, honestly. Basically just parking outside of their gun range and then blasting them with your ships, but, you know, if Ls and XLs had a bit more survivability per se, in that maybe they would try and dodge a bit of fire, or, you know, would at least retreat if they get, you know, if they start to lose their shielding, then I'd be more inclined to just, you know, send a fleet of them against stations. But as it stands right now, doing that is basically suicide, because they'll just fly up directly in, you know, in front of their main turrets and die within 5 seconds. Yeah, that's actually on the survey that they sent out, basically asking people if they were going to, or if they were fine with them eliminating resources in the main core, you know, core ring. There was an additional comment section there, and basically, you know, for anything that you would want to see in the game, basically any suggestion you would have. And my thing I put up there was basically AI survivability. Number one. AI survivability is number one. Because the AI as it stands is just far too suicidal. They will just dive directly into enemy cannons, or, you know, station cannons. They don't really dogfight, per se, when it comes to space combat. They basically just, you know, joust. And as much as I do also love the medieval setting for some games, you know, in space I would expect some version of, you know, using all the directions, or, you know, all 6 directions of thrust per se, and potentially more than that, depending on the kind of setup one has, in order to engage in an actual dogfight, and not just them, you know, just sitting there and taking a pounding for no reason. Because the thing with the Xenon as well that I find is that by comparison to other races, their turrets are very, very accurate. Oh, there goes my repair drone. So I've tried going toe-to-toe with other, like, Xenon ships, just with cap ships of my own, and they don't last long. Like, they will focus down your turrets in seconds, whereas yours will barely do anything to them. So yeah. Now the Xenon, that being said, the Xenon are the Xenon. They're kind of meant to be, you know, a little overpowered, because they are the main kind of hostile force in the universe. But still. One thing I'd love is if I could set half my fighters in my carrier as bombers, so they will only launch and attack in L or XL stations, while the other half could be set as fighters, would only launch and attack small and medium ships. To a point, you can. Basically, you can set your bomb... Basically, what you do is you would set half of your fighters to be intercept, so they would intercept anything coming to basically attack your ship. And then you would set the bombers to attack with commander. That being said, bombers aren't really super useful. I've tried using them. They have the exact same issue as fighters. They will go directly at a station until they basically ram their face into it, and then turn around and fly away and do it again. So generally what happens with bombers is they will fire off one salvo and die. So yeah, not super useful. Like, I actually did create a fleet of 10 Dragon bombers, or I should say Dragon torpedo torpedo bombers, I guess you could call them, and they lasted the whole of about 30 seconds. No, not even that. Maybe 15 seconds. They got off like one salvo and then died because they went. And again, if I look at this here, let me load this up here quickly. Let me go to the encyclopedia. Military weapons. No, not weapons. It would be under missile launchers per se. The M dumbfire launcher. No, that's not really the one I want. Let's go with missile then. Yes, the heavy torpedo MK1. It has... Where is it? It has an effective range of 12 kilometers. 12 kilometers is way out of range of a station's turrets. Way out of range. As a bomber, they should be going to like 8 kilometers at the like closest, launching a salvo and then backing away and doing it again. So one of the main issues that the game, or that the, Egosoft does need to work on when it comes to their game in the future, is its combat AI. Because the combat AI, as it stands and as it kind of has been for a while now, is very bland, in that they don't really act like you would, in a realistic fashion per se. As much as I'm, bringing up the realism tag in a game, still, you do want some degree. The whole point of an AI is to try and make it as realistic as possible, so that it acts like what another person would. And unfortunately, they just don't bloody do that. Like, for example, if you have enemy, think of it like this way. Think of it like Homeworld. If you have enemy bombers in Homeworld, what do? You send your fighters to intercept those suckers before they, wreck your cap ships. So that should be the exact same thing. Like the enemy AI should be able to do that, act in such a way like a bomber, because they're outfitted to be a bomber, or otherwise. And then the opposite AI should be being, hey, this is a priority target. We need to intercept these, before they, wreck our shit. And then focus on doing that. But unfortunately, that is just, one of the, I guess, issues that the game has, is that in a way, like, this is the funny thing in a way, in that, I guess, well, part of it is Egosoft isn't a massive studio. It's not like Blizzard or Bethesda with several hundred people that they can throw at a problem or throw at a game, per se. But still, their entire focus, per se, their entire studio's focus has been on this genre, this type of game. So you would think that they would, if not the time, have enough knowledge and that built up on programming AI, for this type of game, that they'd be the best there is. Like, literally, how many games in the series are we now? Like, what, 5 or 6 games in the series? You would think they would be number one in the industry when it comes to, space game fighter AI. But that is not the case. Right, let's teleport over to this guy so I can get him in a position to help out here. And that's a lot of, has to do with a lot of features. One of the other, main issues that Egosoft tends to have, as much as I want to bring up all their shortcomings per se in a way here, at least in my own personal, perspective there, is that when it comes to certain, releasing new games, releasing potentially new expansions and such, when it comes, just in general, I should say, is they like to almost reinvent the wheel a lot at times. Yeah, you should probably run away. Wait, why are you there? Oh, you're dead, aren't you? Yeah, he dead.
Acknowledged.
Yeah, for whatever reason, it's once more an issue here where they're refusing to target this properly. Oh god, is this all going through the station? It is, isn't it? I mean, they are trying. It's at 0% hull, so this thing should basically be dead here now. But yeah. Maybe if they retreat when they lose shields, that would help. That would be an improvement, yes. But another thing is, pilot skills should matter more. Like, a level 1 pilot would be basically what we have now, where they're basically just flying directly at enemies, shooting, probably missing a lot, and doing the, more so attack by volume than attack by quality. And likewise, when it comes to a level 5 pilot, he should be using his strafe, he should be using the boost in short amounts and so on. Maybe they could have some kind of a, a periodic mode where they can, put a extra bit of burn on their maneuvering thrusters per se and do a quick 360 flip or something to re-engage. There are a variety of things that could potentially be done to make that more interesting. But number one being survivability in that sense, having enough forethought to use other ships as cover to get away if you're dangerously critically low on health, or dangerously low on hull, I should say, or use asteroids as cover. Basically, if you a level 5 pilot, if you are that close to being killed, get the heck out of there, use whatever you can as cover, and just get out as fast as possible. Or if that's not possible, then straight up eject from your ship, and try and fly back in your spacesuit. And actually, that's another thing that did get added with one of the recent betas that I actually quite like. Is one of my biggest damn complaints that I've had for ages now is you're engaging in combat in your ship, maybe with a fleet, maybe without. You're doing your best, but things are going south. You're screwed. There's nothing you can do, and you get blown up. Then you have to wait 3 minutes to go back to the main loading screen. Then you have to wait another 3 minutes to load back into the game, and it just wastes a lot of time. Whole lot of time for no good reason. Now, they have the emergency eject system, so if your ship does go critical, you will be ejected into your spacesuit and thus be able to potentially fly away, call another ship to pick you up, and, live to fight another day. And I think I'm actually going to attach these two as a unit. Okay. I guess I'd do it this way here. No? You don't want to do it? Probably because I'm currently flying in this thing, that's why. That's actually more than likely why. So let me get up quickly. Pardon me. Not property, object list. Kraken. Attack with commander. I would just say follow commander, because that's really all I want you to do is follow him. Defend yourself, but follow him. Let me go ahead and set your loadout to attack all enemies. Same thing for him. I have to retweak his loadout to attack all enemies, because for whatever reason he refused to attack the last bit of the station, which is aggravating. There we go. So it's like there's so many things that, my thing is, it seems like at times Egosoft likes to basically scrap whole systems of the game and start over from scratch, rather than taking what works, improving upon it, and then looking at what doesn't work and think, is this something we want to keep no matter what, or is it something that we should cut? If it's something that we should keep no matter what, then how can we make it work? Basically. Like, honestly speaking, the biggest flaw that the X series has had, like previously, which led to a lot of complaints and basically them trying to, in a way, westernize it, which is what led to Rebirth being kind of a bit of a mess that it was in a way, was the lack of a detailed, interesting tutorial. Like, the tutorial system has always been very basic. There hasn't been... Oh, there's a plunderer there. I should probably go after that. Where's my dragon? So that's the biggest downside, is that the game has basically always been menus, buried in menus, buried in menus, and you get very overwhelmed with that, especially with the earlier X games where they were just like, essentially kick you out into space and good luck. Rebirth was meant to be a console game. Yeah, they did they did basically build it with controller in mind. That's part of the reason why it suffered somewhat in how it did. And the fact that they went from controlling several different types of ships and flying several different ships to, that slow upgrade to basically just, fly one overpowered ship, essentially. I mean, I will fully admit, part of the reasoning they had for that wasn't wrong, in that flying capital ships was a massive pain in the ass. Like, you're flying a gigantic space whale that goes like, 10 miles a second or whatever it is, or 10 meters a second, and is just, turns like an absolute, garbage truck, per se, or garbage barge. Xbox couldn't run it. Yeah. And so people for the most part didn't fly capital ships. But there were still a lot of situations where, you did want to have personal control over your ships. And I did have,
Hello.
have that happen a couple of times, kind of like what happened right now, where I had to position my capital ships just so that they could actually do their job without, dying a horrible, horrible death. I liked Rebirth eventually, but it had so many issues. Like, I mean, let's be honest, every X game that releases will have, even several game-breaking issues for a period of time. That's just status quo. That is how it is. It's just, a standard practice per se. As much as it sucks, it's just how that, turns out. Against, their best wishes, or not best wishes, but they do the best of their ability to make sure that shit like that doesn't happen, but it still happens. Examples being that actually, let me blow my nose for a second, because I'm kind of dying here a little bit. Let me see if I can push this thing back without knocking everything over, which would be quite nice. There we go. So, one quick moment. There we go, it's better. Lovely. Yeah, no. So as a veteran of, like, the, X3 especially, and its expansions, which I put easily at least, like, 3, if not almost close to 5,000 hours into, and that was, most of it was before it was released on Steam. Like, if I look on Steam here, if it wants to load, because it's being kind of slow. Yeah, let me take a look here. Well, I only have Terran Conflict and Albion Prelude on here. But those two together is about 250 hours. Don't know why the other X3 wasn't showing up on here for some damn reason. Yeah, weird. I guess I didn't have the... of course, that was before the default one was even on there. That would be why. So, yeah, I don't even have the hours on that, sadly. Yeah, for Rebirth, I only have like 136 hours. But, But yeah, when that one first released, trade was basically completely broken. As your ships would basically just sit there and do nothing. Or when they actually did do their job, for the larger capital class trade ships, they basically had a...
Phoenix. Sentinel.
Oh, there's what I'm looking for. They basically had the issue of... My brain needs to work for a second here. They had the issue of they were basically going into park at a station. They would ram the station repeatedly and then explode. So trade in that game when it first came out was basically impossible. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. I'm inside the ship, I'm inside the ship. Information unlocked. He didn't actually get flagged as red, though, even though he's essentially a pirate. Which I find to be hilarious. We are neutral with the scale plate pack, though, right now. So I'm going to say I'm not going to bother shooting him down right now. But, yeah. The cap ship jump drives? Oh, yeah, that was nice. Like, there was a lot of things that I did like about Rebirth, and of course the engine being the main one. But, there was just a lot of, like, another example of something that was somewhat broken in a sense was when you finally got up to basically building your first station. By that point you were hostile with the main antagonist of the game. And unfortunately, they were practically the only ones... in the universe at the time, at least that I've found, that were selling the components you needed to build that damn station. So if you were trying to complete the storyline, you were basically screwed at that point. Which was kind of annoying, to say the least. Right, now what else do I need to do? Yeah, exactly. Not to mention that My biggest thing is, well, the other major flaw for me personally with this game specifically was their decision to essentially launch it without any kind of main overarching story campaign. Because for me, when it comes to all the previous X games, even Rebirth in that same sense, the main campaign, as much as the game was a sandbox and meant to be a sandbox, pardon me for a second. There we go. As much as the game is a sandbox, the campaign is what pulls you into the universe. It's what makes you care. It's what gives you basically an adversary to give you a meaning to involve yourself in the universe outside of, make money, spend money, maybe blow some stuff up. Because when your goal is basically, just playing in a sandbox without any kind of theme to it, that kind of gets boring eventually. Because every goal that you have, you need to make yourself. You have to give yourself find your own or make your own meaning to being in the universe in that sense.
Sentinel.
For me, that's going to be basically wiping out the Xenon and the Patriarch forces eventually. And of course, we'll see how things go on further with the Cradle of Humanity expansion that's coming out here soon. And the addition of the Terrans. Excuse me. Right now, my main goal is just, get a whole bunch of additional stations up and running, secure my hold on 451 and Xenon Sector 9, and then basically expand ourselves from there. Oh shit, you're under attack, aren't you? You are under attack. Let me help you with that. Am I not holding the right buttons? I should be. Okay, there we go. That was not acting like it should have, which was annoying. Go get him, boys. Yeah, no, you're right. With how the Koch are now basically behaving against miners, it is going to be 100% necessary to ensure that we have the reaction force put on. My best playthrough ever was my Terran playthrough on Albion Prelude. Yeah, mine... what was mine? I think I also had Albion Prelude at the time. I had the hub, which was connected to different sections of the universe. It was connected up to my main kind of home sector, which was a pirate sector, to the southwest of Paranid Space, which is south of Argon Space. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a chain of 3 different pirate sectors. Well, a neutral sector and then 2 pirate sectors. I can't remember for the life of me what it's called right now. I could probably find out, actually. Let me take a look here. Let's see. But I need the names of the sectors as well. There we go. Let's see here. Ah, yes, it was the Savage Spur was my main home sector, which was a free space sector, which is right next to Empire's Edge, and then below that was Okakoke's Storm, Senator's Badlands, and Weaver's Tempest, which was basically owned by a pirate faction. And that's essentially where I made my kind of own little empire. I think eventually our goal was to take down the Paranid, but it had been a while. So yeah, Reaction Force, it seems, is definitely a mod we're going to have to get, because the Koch are going to be incredibly harassive, and we need to make sure that we are prepared to deal with that now. But yeah. But my main thing, again, is just that I really do hope that rather than attempting to basically reinvent the wheel. I do hope that Egosoft will simply build off of what they know works well and add complexity to, you know, basically where they can. Like an example being, I would personally love it if I could have much finer control over what my ships do. For example, like I have a lot of issues at times. Basically, when it comes to supplying your own stations using your own miners, they tend to like if you just assign them subordinates, they tend to send them out for a whole bunch of different resources. They even tend to mine resources that they're not supposed to be mining, that are in demand in the station, which is weird, but apparently they just do it for some damn reason. So I would vastly prefer it, honestly, if I could tell that, you know, miner 1, go here, mine ore until full, go here, empty ore until empty, repeat. Done. That's just a simple command chain which tells him just to go there back and forth, mine ore in this sector, return it to the station until it's full up to a certain point, and then, you know, stop. Or be like, you know, what is it? So go here, mine ore until full, empty here, and then something like an if at 75%, stop. If not, continue. That way, you know, and then repeat, because that way they would basically run that. They would stop at a certain point if they're full, and then if they ended up using up the resources, they would continue. I just wish I had more of that kind of fine control over it. If I did, I could tell, like, for example, what the hell is it? Like, my main station way the hell out here is producing engine parts and hull parts. But main thing I care about is the engine parts. So the engine parts are needed. Let me actually get rid of energy cells because everyone pretty much makes those. There we go. I would like to set up a trader simply to go here, take energy part or engine parts, bring them to my other station, drop off engine parts. Done. Basically setting up a supply to just the two, or a supply chain between the two sections of this type. Or even like, say, supply this resource from here to here until this. Done. That way I could be like, you know, supply ore and silicon from this station to this station until, you know, at a certain limit. That way, for example, they could take half a load of ore, half a load of silicon, take it there, drop it off. If they happen to be full of silicon and not ore, then, you know, they would just go back, grab a full cargo hold of ore, and bring that back. So it's just simple things like that that I wish was in it. But the thing being that complexity is good, but it needs to be optional complexity. You know, you need to have your features being as user-friendly and simple as possible, but with the potential to, you know, dive in to more complex management if you want. So it's one of those things where it's like you need to make it simple, but you also need to make it complex. Or, you know, it's not as appealing per se. I mean, it works, but it could work better in a way. But hey, that's just me. That's just me being me. Because at the end of the day, you know, I could want for the world, but I mean, if it was that easy, everyone would be doing it. Let's be honest. AI programming is one of the, like, worst damn things you can, or one of the most difficult things you can really do when it comes to making a game. To say the least. Actually, let me go ahead, because I should have some missions here, just to give me something to do, since I'm kind of, like, losing my mind a little right now. I should be focusing on getting a few things done, I'm not really doing it. The venture thing I can't really do. Here we go. Promotion to Citizen of the Republic.
Autopilot engaged.
Oh, at the action button? No.
Autopilot disengaged.
Remove your orders. I'll have you take me. Chauffeur, please take me here.
We have new orders. Navigation.
I like her. She's definitely my favorite pilot. Yeah, I can't even pronounce it. I'm not even going to try to. I will utterly butcher it if I try that again. My fleet had 3 missile ships in it, and they killed everything from miles away. I understand why they got rid of missile ships, because they were beyond OP. That's true, but that's why AI needs to be improved in that sense. Like, for example, if you're flying around a cap ship and you have hostile hostile bombers incoming or missile ships incoming, you would have like in the logical thought of things, you would have like 2 options. The first being launch fighters to intercept targets. The second being, I don't have any fighters. I don't have a way to effectively combat these. I need to leave. And in which case, it basically either, turns around and tries to get the hell out of there, while basically firing all kinds of chaff, putting all turrets on essentially missile defense and whatever else it has to do, and then getting the hell out of Dodge. And that brings another point to the front as well. Missile defense. Even if you have shard turrets, which are essentially low-range space shotguns on your ship, they will not down missiles. 90% of the time. About the only thing that seems to somewhat reliably down missiles is maybe the laser turret. Other than that, anti-laser or anti-missile defenses are kind of a joke. Like, chaff does practically nothing.
Entering system. Atikva's choice.
Especially if they're close, it's not going to do a damn thing. So yeah, there's a lot of things that need to be improved for that. And actually, when it comes to X3, one of my favorite mods per se was actually the extended mod, which has a fantastic classic trailer that I would definitely suggest checking out on YouTube if you haven't. And it added basically its own new universe. Well, eventually it added its own new universe, but initially it just added a whole slew of new ships. It actually had the super mining ships back when it essentially you just build a base on an asteroid and that's what would mine your ore for you or your silicon for you. It actually had a super ship that was a ore processor and miner in and of itself, which was nice. It also had things like a capital class missile ship. So an actual capital class ship that would launch a barrage of torpedoes and other like ridiculously high damaging weaponry that would decimate stations. Wow, I'm just like sliding sideways right now in space as he attempts to try and... Oh, there's a Xenon ship up there I just noticed. Looks like an I. Was that an I or a Q? Because I do want to look at the Q. No, it's a K, an I... I don't see the Q, because there was a Q here previously, and I haven't actually seen the Q face-to-face yet. I've killed a lot of I's, killed a lot of K's, have not even got the chance to see a Q before one died. X3 flak was amazing. Yes, it was. X3 flak was very, very effective against missiles at times. Not always, but still. It was much more effective than it is in this one, that's for sure. But turrets in general in this one have never, like even since day one, have never been super effective. They either don't hit anything, they don't fire when they're supposed to, or they just have so many damn issues that make it so that I'd rather have like things like the Rattlesnake. Honestly, the Rattlesnake is my favorite combat, like heavy combat ship. Simply because, yes, it has turrets, but it also has 4 like prime heavy guns on the front that can fire. Even though they overheat like crazy, still they are very powerful forward-facing guns that can be used to deal, significant amounts of damage. The downside being that they have practically nothing in the way of shielding, as with all split ships. The Raptor is a perfect example where it is a carrier with 101 turrets, a massive complement of fighters, and yet it's still basically... Oh, you brat. It still basically drops in, seconds if it gets into close-range combat. Like, the thing has... Like, let me actually take a look at mine for an example. Let me take a look at my Raptor here. My Raptor has 142,000 shield, 590,000 hull, by comparison to one of my other cap ships, which we just... like, for example, the Razorback here, which was the X Rebirth, what was it called? First Guard. Cap ship only has 300,000 hull and shield. And even the Kraken, which I think has an even vastly superior amount of shielding. No, about 300 and 400. And all of these get destroyed in seconds. Like, these should never get destroyed that quickly, but they do. Which makes that kind of, large-scale fleet combat, like, it should be a matter of... Taking down a capital ship should be a matter of minutes, never seconds. My personal ship in X3 was always the Cerberus. When I got one for the first time, X4 was disappointing. Yeah. My ship was either the Katana for the Terrans or the Nova for the Argons. Those were my favored kind of combat ships. Just because they had some really, really good weaponry, good maneuverability. They were never the, the heaviest or the most well-armed, but they were just very good heavy fighters. The Katana especially was a beast. And I'm looking forward to seeing that again, because I believe the Katana was one of the ships that was revealed for Cradle of Humanity. So I'm very, one of the first things I'm probably going to do is purchase, using this save per se, purchase all of the Terran-based, when I get the, ability to do so, buy all the Terran-based stations and just start going ham with those, because I love the Terran design. Absolutely love the Terran design for the ships, for the stations. Love it. Captain, would you like me to take over for you? You seem to be having some issues. Here, let me here.
Can I help?
Here, let me just let me take care of this for you, since you seem to be having some mild issues here.
Docking granted.
I have to say though, this style of docking, like the Elite Dangerous kind of docking that they added though in X4, I absolutely love it. I really do love this style.
Successfully docked.
It's an honor to have you aboard.
Now, don't crash my ship into the walls, okay? Okay. Because I really don't trust you. Wish I could say I do, but I really just don't. Another thing that was disappointing to me as well, though, when X4 first launched was one of the main things that they were showing off was how in-depth the cockpits were. Like, you would go up to a ship, you would climb up the ladder, or go up a ramp into the ship, and then get into the actual captain, the chair or whatever, the cockpit or bridge or whatever you want to call it for that, and then you would take over command. And one of my personal complaints almost in a way was the fact that most of the ships only have literally a tube and a bridge. So even though I can walk up the actual ramp there, I can't walk through the ship to get to the bridge. It is simply just a teleport to the bridge. So I wasn't as much of a fan of that. It wasn't what I was expecting when I originally saw them kind of showing off the whole like walking into a small ship and then getting into the cockpit and flying away and docking on another ship and so on. But to be honest, if they had to render all of that on every ship and so on, it would probably eat up so much damn memory that they were just like, no, we got to cut this.
We're happy that you've continued to work alongside us and wanted to reward you for your efforts. It's an honor to present you.
I have Star Citizen to scratch at this. You know what? Ironically enough, I also have Star Citizen, and I still haven't touched it in like probably 2 years. I really need to get on that. That's just, that's bad of me. I spent like a decent little bit of money on that, and I, bad Silver, bad. Need to get on that. This was another thing as well, like,
Once again, I thank you for your efforts. We look forward to working with you.
I wish that your dynamic, when it comes to basically gaining reputation with a faction, or like say if there's other trading companies and such, I wish there was a more intimate way that you accept missions and work with certain factions to further their goals but further your own. Because most of the time with the issue with a lot of missions in this game is that you don't really feel like you're doing anything, to be honest.
Good luck out there.
Because most of the time you're literally just... Actually, I can hit Shift D and get back to my ship immediately. Most of the time it feels like you're just, going through the same generic motions for no realistic benefit. Like, even when it comes to a lot of the guild missions, which were just honestly chain missions of the same kind of stuff you'd been doing anyway, with some exceptions. When it comes to supporting a war effort or such, I never really felt like the missions I was doing were making any kind of impact whatsoever on the actual war effort. To a point when it comes to placing some defenses and such, but I mean, how many people are going to get caught in the same old minefield, in an area, just, actually, you know what? I'm gonna have you pilot me somewhere. I'm not sure where I want to go right now, to be honest.
Hello.
Let me go into my actual finances here for a sec. That's research, not finances. Speaking of which, I really should get to work on the actual research there. Do I have any priority messages? No, I just was promoted to Citizen of the Republic. Account management. Accept all estimates. Let's see how we're looking. So I gained 1.3 million there, gained 2 million there, lost 90,000 there, gained 5.7 million from the defense platform, which finished its construction. All those funds were no longer necessary for its construction. Tharka's Ravine. Oh no, that's the Matrix 9 one. Oh yeah, that's because we delivered a load using the Mega Transport. And then of course 1.1 million from our high-tech fac. Alright, let's go ahead and confirm that. So that's another good chunk of change for us. We're back over 400 million again. Right, let me go ahead and let me take a look at you. Actually, not even look at you, but let me shrink down Xenon's Bane here. So, the Chimeras are still in construction. It looks like the gas miner did finish construction. I actually have a Sunder gas frigate that's doing basically nothing over in Argon Prime. So I'll probably give him up as well. I don't see where the other one's at, though, which is annoying. Unless that was the gas one. No, it was not the gas one. So what happened to my gas one? Am I blind? I know I'm probably blind, but am I that blind? Apparently I am that blind. Oh well. And I still have a batch of Hermes Sentinels as well that I haven't given any trade orders to as of yet. Either way, let's go ahead and assign this guy. So it was you that's having issues right now. Mine for Commander. Add to Alpha. There we go. So he can go head off and help him with that. We also have this Drill Vanguard, which is basically sitting around doing nothing. I will have him also mine for you, and hopefully that'll help you out. What ship do I got? I'm basically using a dragon right now. Essentially what happened is, I don't know if I want to save right now. Let's check the autosave. So this save file, as is right now, is already basically 6 days old. Originally, this got up to 6 days, and then unfortunately, due to save file corruption, we lost an entire 24 hours worth of progress. I adjusted that using essentially the cheat menu to boost myself back up a little bit to kind of recover some of that loss. And then luckily, when the 4.0 update came out, it actually somehow magically fixed the save file corruption. Oh no, about Star Citizen. I see what you mean. I don't remember. It's been that long. It's been like 2 years since I even looked at the thing, I think. So I honestly have no idea. But yeah. I guess I might as well finish what I was saying for this thing. But yeah. Or should I even bother at this point? God knows I've said that one enough times. Oh wait, no, I forgot you were supposed to drive me somewhere. Like, where do I even want you to drive me? You know what? Fly me over here. So I want to see if I can find myself a queue. And they seem to be hanging out over in that area. Okay, never mind. Apparently she's not flying me. But yeah, this was actually the original ship that I captured when I first started this playthrough.
Jump gate.
That's one of the inactive jump gates, possibly leading to Terran space. We'll find out soon. Let me go ahead and start a guidance. Oh wow, they actually have two... Well, it's a wharf and a shipyard. It looks like it's two shipyards, but it's just a wharf and a shipyard. Luckily. Man, that music is great. Let me actually crank that up a little bit, because I did lower all the settings for that. Let's bring voice up as well. Yeah, there we go. That's some really good music. I do like that. But yeah, so this was the first ship I ever captured in this playthrough, and I basically used it to, within the first 6 hours of playing, when the expansion first released, I used this ship to slowly whittle down the Patriarch fleet, and then finally destroy the enemy Rattlesnake. That was the main objective of Vengeance for that. I think I was actually one of the first people who got the achievement for that, actually. Oh, my stomach is killing me now. Shit. I might not be able to stay on here for too long, actually, because of that. Shit. Welcome, by the way, Noma. Welcome, welcome. Oh. Apparently I popped out of Travel Drive and didn't realize it. We were too busy enjoying the music and flying through this lovely ice asteroid field over here on our left. Jeez. But yeah, and I've kind of used it ever since. Started off with plasmas, then I basically switched to lovely pulse weapons because they had a bit more accuracy against medium and heavy fighters. Hey, thank you for the follow there, good sir. Appreciate it, Noma. Welcome to the Shenanigans. But yeah, I've actually been thinking of swapping these out with the thermal disintegrator, but I think because they have more of a... Because they do penetrate both our shield. They basically penetrate shields and directly hit armor. But from what I remember firing them initially, They basically have the type of style where you charge them and then fire, and I wasn't as much of a fan of that. Because I like the kind of constant, sustained fire that I get from this.
Jump gate. The void.
Hey, there's one of my trade ships. It's like he's heading to the shipyard over there.
Jump gate.
Good for him.
The void.
Gotta go. My 4X game beta has improved so much, and COH is out next month. Ooh, nice. Oh, yes, of course it is. The 16th of next month. Yes, I am looking forward to that.
Entering system. The void.
I'm also very interested to see how their changes to mining are going to, you know, pan out in the end. Like, I do like the idea of making mining a bit more interesting, where skill and basically resource probes are more meaningful. They actually did clarify a bit as well that the intent isn't necessarily to have, like, you know, 100 resource probes in an area, more so that they will prioritize, you know, areas with the probe and potentially have the ability to basically scout out, like, high concentration pockets of resources that you could then, your miners could then focus on. And I believe it was also supposed to give them a bit of a bonus. So if they mine in the range of a probe, they would get a bonus to their actual mining, which is quite nice for that as well. And I do like the idea of basically, because I did vote yes towards the removal, if not toning down, of the resources in the core sectors.
Frontier edge.
Just because, you know, it makes sense. They're the core sectors. They're going to be mined to death long ago.
M. Jump gate.
I would be shocked if there were still resources in the core sectors. Unless they just recently became such. But one other thing that I really do hope to see them implement is a bit more of a scattering, which I actually mentioned in my last video as well. A bit more scattering of the workforce bonus. Because right now, only the main core sectors, like for example Argon Prime and some of the Patriarch space, and basically any core sector of a race has like a massive bonus to workforce. Which is good in a way. Well, there's the queue. The Branch 9 Q Destroyer. Oh shit, we should probably back out a little bit here because we're right in the middle of all this combat going on. Let's take a look at this thing. So it's very much so like the K. I want to get a closer look at you though, because I haven't really seen too many Qs around here.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Hey, thank you for the follow there, Daniel. Appreciate it, mate. Oh yeah, I can see, like, right there's a K, there's the Q. So you can see the front of it is definitely vastly more reinforced than its K variant. Let's see how it is for basic weaponry. So we'll fly in my usual way. The back is still its vulnerable spot, it seems. I am getting hammered though, but I think the... oh yeah, it looks like the front has a much greater amount of turrets, well, anti-fighter turrets, I should say. I'm actually going to pull back here a little bit because I don't want to get slammed by the fighters while they're kind of dealing with things. Yeah, you're set to attack fighters, but you're not really doing your job now, are you? Ah, whatever. I might as well start working on some of the enemy fighters in the area then. Alright, you punk. You think you can harass me? Get back here. Don't you boost away from me. See, this is basically what they do. They'll strafe you once, they'll boost away, wasting literally all their shields. Yeah, my guess is the Q is probably from the X Rebirth ship pack, but I've never actually seen them spawn any, though. So that's why I was very, like, where the hell did you come from? Because, again, there are 6 days worth of progress on this save, so I can't be 100% sure if that was part of the default or not. Let's see if I have any information on that. Because if there's an encyclopedia page on that, which I don't think there is. Well, let me take a look. Let me pull that open for a second here. Let's see. Ships. Combat ships. Carriers and destroyers. The Q. No information available. No information available. So they all basically have no information available. Seven medium turrets and 6 large turrets on the K. Whereas this guy has 8 large turrets and 18 medium turrets. So, vastly more turrets. Much beefier version of the K. And the Q was in previous versions of the game as well. So my guess is it's probably... If it isn't vanilla, then it's definitely from the Rebirth pack.
I.
Of course, there's the I.
K. N.
Oh god, there's far too many... I kind of want to pick it apart, honestly. I want to go through the process of disabling it entirely. But there's too many fighters in the area for me to effectively do that without basically being wiped out. Well, you know what? Let's do something, though. Let's do something. We're gonna quick save here quickly, and I'm gonna test the emergency eject system and see if that works. And welcome, by the way, Edgy. Still saving. Please wait. It's time to suicide my beloved vessel into that enemy queue. When it eventually saves. 10 years from now. There we go. Oh yeah, the positioning of its guns are all different as well. Yeah, it's got a whole bunch of turrets on the side. I am being like just shredded here real quick. Oh. Froze. Ship definitely died. I think it's trying to initiate the script to eject me into space, but it's like, nope, can't do it. Yep, it basically froze. Well, that's unfortunate.
Ejecting.
There we go. Oh, my ship.
Eject successful.
My beloved ship. No. Oh, they're actually targeting me still, too. Yeah, and the turrets nailed me. So even if you eject, they still will target you and, of course, potentially blow you to hell. I would hopefully be hopefully the spacesuit would be considered a low priority target if there are other ships in the area. But yeah. Still, it's nice to see that it works. I mean, the game kind of flipped out for a minute there and was like, "Oh God, no, no! What are you doing? Why?" Ah, that was funny. But yeah. Anywho, this is going to take forever, isn't it? Ah, the downsides of working off a laptop. It just doesn't quite perform as well as the actual computer does. It's the Epic of Gilgamesh. Sabotaging defense control panels gives you a limited time period in which the station is weaker, or even defenseless. That would be a nice thing to do with the actual Xenon stations. One of the things, oddly enough, one of the things that I miss is the controlling of drones that you had in Rebirth. That was a fun little system. I felt like that could have been enhanced upon further. And of course, launching that like actual guided torpedo was just a fun thing to do. Or torpedo drone, I guess you could call it. And I just thought about it a second ago. Crap, and I forgot. What was that? Shit. Something about hacking systems. No. Close. Boarding. 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 That was it. That was it. That's what I was thinking of. Boarding. The boarding system needs a revamp. Like, the boarding system as it exists right now is simply a matter of essentially lower the enemy's shields and hull down to a certain point. Just Zerg swarm the enemy ship with like 400 Marines or something like that. And then, either you capture it or you don't, and then you just send more Marines to do it. You're basically just sending hundreds and hundreds of Marines to their death in order to slowly, whittle down the defending numbers and then take over. There's not enough interaction to that. They need like a full-on interface basically to that for basically giving you progress. Where are they? What are they doing? And giving you things that you can do to basically assist that. Like, hey, they're, encountering a lot of resistance in a certain section of the ship, for example. So you can fly over to that section of the ship, pound into that point of the hull, and then essentially vent out the defenders into space. Certain things like that could be done to make the system more interesting. Hacking certain systems like you used to do in Rebirth. There's just so many different ways that they could make boarding more interesting, I think. No, I don't want to go to He Was Twin. Speaking of which, how's He Was Twin 1 and 2 doing? This is not that great. They still own He Was Twin 1, but I don't expect that to last forever. Because they kind of suck. Yeah, they kind of suck. I want to go there.
Autopilot.
I'll let the autopilot take over for now. When it comes to terraforming as well, I know that, of course, obviously the new expansion will probably have that as an end goal to the kind of Terran campaign, is my guess. Well, and that was actually speaking of which, going back to my previous thing that I was saying there, which was essentially my gripe about the lack of a story mission or a overarching kind of story to bring you into the universe and give you, meaning and something to fight for and just kind of a stake in the universe per se. I'm kind of disappointed with the actual, like story missions that they gave. I mean, each one of them has their kind of highlights in a way, which, makes each of them unique in a sense, but they're also basically the same damn thing. Like in each one, you're having to basically supply a rebellion fleet. In each one, you're having to pay out, a mass amount of money to them. And in all of these, even when you give them basically their entire fleet to take over, to become their own faction, you basically get shit for that. The only thing that happens is you create a new faction to basically increase the amount of war in the universe. Which is a good thing, because that, helps support the economy, or the, continuation and expansion of the economy, but still, the rewards you get for, like, a massive amount of investment is not the greatest, because, like, for example, when I finished, mostly finished the Split storyline, but basically stopped at the last point where they were, saying, hey, give us 400 million credits. I gave them their full-on rebellion fleet, which cost me like 200 million plus credits. And not only did I not get shit for that, but when they became their own faction, they started me off at neutral reputation. Like, are you kidding me? Hell, even when I completed the initial, like, Split mission, to basically seek revenge. I have a head in my inventory. I'm pretty sure that's still in my inventory even. If I check my personal inventory. Just look for the thing that's worth 10 million. And right here, head of Split. I literally have a severed head in a box worth 10 million credits, and I cannot sell it. Can't sell it. As far as I'm aware, I've never found anywhere that I could sell that. I mean, especially early on in that part of the game, I could really use 10 million credits more than I could a trophy. Well, I mean, let me rephrase that. I would either rather exchange it for 10 million credits, or I want a plaque on my ship so that I can literally mount that thing on the wall. Ship and or station so I can literally mount that thing on a wall. Those are the two options that I would have liked to have seen for that. Personally. Oh, someone actually attacked me there, I think. Anyway, I digress. But yeah. So, the sameness of the missions, the sameness of a lot of the ships, in the sense that when the game came out, the L and XL versions of, say, the Capital class ships were basically the exact same damn ship, with a slight variation to either the amount of turrets or basically making the hull larger. Were, you know, made it really bland initially, which was a shame. Since one of the things that made X3 great was the just variety of ships. The different, you know, look for each of the races' ships. Especially the Boron. The Boron had some of my favorite looking ships, honestly. Especially with the extended mod, which just, you know, went real ham on their whole, you know, theme of the Boron. Especially when it came to their, you know, to their shipyards and trade stations. It actually made them look unique and interesting and gave them that kind of aquatic feeling. And I quite liked that. And then, of course, through the birth, they kind of just mashed all the races up together into one amalgamation and then just made us compete with different corporations, which, again, wasn't too interesting because none of the corporations had any real, like, in-depth personality that you could, you know, interact with and influence in any meaningful way. But hey, what can you do?
Entering system. Right promise.
And we're almost there. At long last. Yeah, the irony, when it comes to this sector, the irony is, when I first started off, like, I always, because I know the HQ always spawns in the same damn place every single time, and you can't really move it.
Day.
Thank you for the follow there, Voka, Oliver. Appreciate it, good sir. Welcome to Shenanigans. But yeah, when it comes to the player HQ, it always spawns in the same place, in Talati space. It could never be moved, at least until now, with the new terraforming mechanic, which basically is attached to the player HQ. So once you've unlocked all your teleportation technology, you basically take on a terraforming mission, and the entire HQ will teleport into the system that has this planet to terraform, and you begin the process of doing exactly that. And just pump resources into the station, and it will slowly terraform the planet. That being said, because of that, because it's always in the same space, which is Talati's space, I basically went and bought a lot of Talati-based blueprints and factories to build there. Excuse me. With the exception of the structures, which I made split because it's the split, you know, expansion and split start. I figured at least the design would look split, even if the, you know, manufacturing plants were more based on Talati. And of course the racial structures being Talati, just because those resources were more likely to be available in that space. So, obviously, in order to get those, I had to keep the station, like literally over here actually, with that lovely ring in the distance that's not properly rendering. The trade station, which is where the Talati representative is at, who I buy those blueprints from. It is weird that is still not rendering in properly. Huh. Awkward. There we go. There we go. So yeah. And unfortunately, being that they're literally right next to a Xenon sector, this place was constantly getting invaded with I's and K's. So over and over again, I was having to personally fly over and disable the turrets and engines on these I's and K's so that the local forces could move in and actually do something rather than just literally rolling over and dying. Eventually, when they started to push into the Sector 451, I actually... Let me disable this because he's taking his sweet time to get in here. When they finally moved into 451, or attempted to, I assisted them in basically eliminating the stations in the system and neutralizing it so that they could take over. And they did. Problem being, they did a really shit job of that, so that the Xenon basically just walked back in, took it all over again, and booted their ass out. So then, finally, and I actually wasted 2 of my rattlesnakes to do that, too, which I was not too happy about. So here's one of my new construction new stations going up here now. That's nice. I'm looking for my defense station, which is straight up ahead here. I just wanted to look at that from an external standpoint rather than looking at it in the build menu. But yeah. So finally, I brought my own damn fleet here, and of course, they sucked at it, so I had to literally destroy all the stations my bloody self over an absurd amount of time. There's my line of defense towers that I used to eliminate the different ships in the system here. Now, let me double check, because the one thing I couldn't see in my build menu was if they actually constructed the turrets on this properly. Well, it looks like they haven't. I can see the construction site, and I've actually gone on every single one of these and basically told them to construct or loaded the blueprint for these. I couldn't do it on every single one of them, but hey. Oh no, it looks like some of them have been built. It's just we don't have enough resources for them to build all of them. So some of them have been fitted out here completely. And we have the upper and lower turrets here. We do. So we have pulse turrets to basically take care of the M-class fighters, and then of course the L plasmas to deal with everything else. Yeah, this ring here looks basically complete for its defenses. So each one of these rings is probably in and of itself enough to take on a Xenon fleet. And I have 3 of them. Why? Because it looks freaking cool. That's why. I sure as hell don't need it, but damn did I want it. I mean, this thing just looks nice. I almost should have, rather than putting the docking port right here, I almost should have moved it, like, underneath the thing or something. But anyway. Oh, one quick second here. Alrighty then, sorry about that. Had some distractions. Insufficient funds from the wharf? No, you've got enough funds. What are you talking about, insufficient funds? Oh. Apparently it wanted more funds. Okay. Let me go to the account management, do an accept all estimate. Yeah, we're gaining... Basically, we're just gaining now. So that gave me another about 2 million. And we got another 9 million due in trades, so that's good. But yeah. Anyway, sorry. Completely distracted there. Apologies. Someone had some important stuff to pass on, which I'll probably have to go chat with them more about here shortly, so I should probably wrap things up here soon. Alright, so that station's there. It just looks really cool, too, looking at it from this angle. These two are being constructed, one of which is going to be producing some advanced components. The other one is producing hull parts and engine parts in a bit more of a mass. Excuse me, because clearly we need a lot more of those. But yeah, and other shipbuilding components. And eventually I might just get another station going, which is just going to be for quite literally holding resources and then distributing them. But yeah. What else can I really accomplish here today? Not much. We've basically secured both of the sectors. We don't really need to do too much right now. Let's actually look at the build for this defense platform. This guy's already quite well constructed now, I should say. The first ring is complete. It's working on the second ring right now. Eventually it'll have the third ring. This one's actually quite well positioned as well. Like, this one's just smack dab in the middle of the sector to kind of defend it, per se. This one's in a much better position because it's literally right between the two gates. And any other stations I could put behind it, and they would probably defend it a lot better, per se. But yeah. Yeah, I think I'll end things here for now, but next time around, I do need to acquire several managers for my different stations and get them basically deposited in the stations as necessary. Yeah, looks like we need at least 3 of them at the moment, eventually 4. And then, of course, assign the Chimeras to somebody, as they're currently basically sitting in Grand Exchange doing nothing. Regardless, though, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Hopefully you all enjoyed. I will hopefully be getting back to doing more of this more often at the end of the month. Once all the moving has been taken care of and I actually have internet connection over there. But yeah, either way, thanks for watching. Till then, have a great one.